said, one request, said Bordegeeta. No request. Just one request. No. One. Okay, what? He said, well, you know, I hate to be munched on and chewed on. Since you're going to eat me up, why don't you eat me whole? Oh, I can't get you in one big bite. Well, yes, you can, said Bordegeeta. It's not very hard at all. I'll tell you what. I'll go over there, and I'll take this big running, you open your mouth. I'll take this big running leap, and I'll jump into your mouth, and I'll go right down, and then it won't hurt me at all. Okay, okay, I'm a good guy, he says. And so Bordegeeta starts running towards the coyote, and she lowers her head, and she goes, bang, right in the coyote's mouth, and he goes, oh! And she kicks his teeth, ow, 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 and she kicks his head, oh, 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 and the poor coyote ran off. And he said, I'm never going to bother that Bordegeeta again. She's too smart for me. And that is the end. Ah, ha, ha, there they are. Now, Rudy, you're going to have to do something to show that you've been studying. Okay, okay. You've been studying your ABCs, right? No. What have you been studying, Rudy? I've been studying my colors. Oh, good. Let's see. Let's see. Rudy, can we give you a test? No. Yes, we can. We're going to give you a test on colors. No, you're not. Yes, we are. Okay, Rudy. Here comes a color. Oh, here's one. Oh, can everybody see what color that is? Don't say it out loud. Shh. Don't tell Rudy, okay? Now, Rudy, we're going to ask you what color this crayon is, okay? Yeah, okay. That's simple. Gosh, that's so simple. Okay, well, Rudy, what color is this crayon? Bring it a little closer. Closer? Yeah. Okay. How's that? Not bad. What color? A little closer. How's that? That's good. Oh, Rudy. Rudy, you ate the crayon? No. Here's the crayon. You spit the crayon out? Yeah. Why? I had to taste the crayon to tell what color it is. Oh, it smells like a crayon. No, it doesn't. It has a taste. Okay, what color does it taste like? Blue! Blue? Yeah. Rudy, you better go back and study some more. Okay. It's not blue? No. Boys and girls, what color is it? It's red. No, it's not. It's blue. Red, Rudy. Orange? No, it's red. Rudy, go back and study. Okay. Say goodbye to the boys and girls. Bye, boys and girls. Bye-bye. Oh, okay, he's back. He's gone. Dylan was the middle boy. He was not particularly strong. And he was not going to marry a wealthy princess. And Mom and Dad didn't know what to do with him. The only thing that Dylan liked to do was draw cats. He would draw cats wherever he was. When he was in school, he would have his notebooks open. He would scribble cats, beautiful pictures of cats. Well, Dad asked Dylan, well, Dylan, what do you want to do with your life? And Dylan said, well, I don't know. I just like to draw cats. You can't draw cats anymore. You can't make a living drawing cats. I'll tell you what, you don't seem to mind school too much. I'm going to take you down to the schoolmaster, and he can teach you how to teach school. And Dylan said to himself, well, what the heck? I can be an apprentice school teacher. Why not? So Dad took Dylan down to the school. Now, in those days, the schoolhouse was very small, just one room. And there was a schoolmaster, very severe, who already knew Dylan. And he said, Dylan, I will take you on as an apprentice if you do not draw any more cats. I am so tired of seeing your cats. Dylan said, okay, I promise, cross my heart, I will never, ever draw cats again. Good, said the schoolmaster. So Dylan went along, and after a while, he couldn't resist it. You know, he would go off, sneak off, and he would draw cats. And he would sneak off into another room, and he'd take out a little piece of paper, and he'd draw a big cat. Oh, I love it. And he would bring his, and one day, though, he brought his notebook into class, and he was scribbling in the margins and drawing cats. And the schoolmaster, Dylan, I promised you to teach you how to be a teacher if you would not draw cats. But you're drawing cats. You have to go. Dylan said, no, please. I really do want to be a teacher. I would be a good teacher, he says. Please don't make me go. Okay. Schoolmaster said, one more chance. I promise. Never, I will never, ever draw cats again. Never, never, never. Okay. But sure enough, before you know it, Dylan was sneaking out the back door, and he would run over and he'd draw a cat, and he would hide it. Then he would go someplace else, and he would draw a cat, and he would hide it. And before you know it, he was scribbling cat pictures in his notebook again, and the schoolmaster said, Dylan, you're drawing cats. Oh. Dylan said, oh, yeah, I am. Oh, I'm sorry. Out. Dylan had to leave. And Dylan thought to himself, oh my gosh, I can't go home. My dad got me this good job with the schoolmaster. I can't go home. I really do want to be a teacher. Oh, what can I do? And then he thought, well, I'll go someplace else, someplace far away where they've never heard of me, and maybe they'll let me be a school teacher apprentice there. And so Dylan got on the road, and he walked out of Hawthorne, and he walked out of Los Angeles County, through Orange County, and he said to himself, I'm going to San Diego. I'll be the best teacher in San Diego, and I will never draw cats again. Well, as Dylan was going to San Diego, which was a very small town in those days, Dylan didn't know that in San Diego, 7 years before, a huge monster had taken over the schoolhouse. And it lived in the schoolhouse, and it came out at night, and it would eat people, especially children. It would come out and snicker through the streets, hiss, hiss, and rattle and squeak. And then it would grab a kid, and nobody would ever see that kid again. Dylan didn't know that. But the people in San Diego were terrified of the monster who lived in the school. But Dylan was walking along, and he walked into San Diego, small town. There's a cathedral, church over there, a bunch of stores, a bunch of houses. They were all dark. Dylan had taken so long, he entered San Diego at night. He didn't know about the monster. He walked through the town. Nobody's here, he said. I wonder where And then he saw, way in the distance, there's the schoolhouse. I can tell that's a schoolhouse. And he ran up to the schoolhouse, and maybe he could find the master teacher in there and persuade him to give him a job. But you know who lived in that schoolhouse? The monster. And he says, oh, look, everything's boarded up. Oh, the boards on the front door. The people in the town had slammed boards over it and locked it and chained it to try to keep the monster out, but he kept getting out. So Dylan went around back. All the windows were all boarded shut. They were boarded shut, except for one down low. And he looked in, and he saw a light way in the distance in that schoolhouse. And he said, oh, that must be the schoolmaster. Maybe I can get in. And he pulled the boards apart, and he crept in. And when he went inside the first room, everything was covered with dust. It didn't look like anybody had been there for years and years. And then he went into the second room, and there were lots of tables and chairs and desks, and everything was covered with dust. And he said, well, this is really, but he saw the light. It was further on, and he went to look for the light. He got in the room where the light was. It was a huge room, about this size. He walked around, and he looked, and it was all clean and neat. Excuse me, on the side of the walls, there was huge blackboards. Blackboard there, blackboard there, blackboard there, blackboard there. And there were lots of pieces of chalk all over the place. Oh, wow, said Dylan. This is cool. This is kind of a nice room. And look at all this chalk and this blackboard. And you know what Dylan did? That's right. Dylan said, no, I'm not going to draw cats. I'm not going to draw. I would like to use the black, but I'm not going to draw cats. He took the chalk. He drew a huge cat. It was a mean cat with fangs coming out like that. Dylan stepped back and oh, that's a pretty nice cat. But you know what? The light was a little dimmer then. So he went on the other side of the room, and he drew another huge cat, snarling and up on its haunches. Oh boy, that's a dynamite cat, he said. All the walls, he drew 4 huge cats all over. With the last cat, the light went out, and Dylan was in the dark. Oh my gosh. And then he heard a sound coming from the other end of the school. And Dylan, oh, what's that? Oh, that sounds terrible, he says. And there was a little cabinet. He had seen it before the light went out, over on the wall, and he went around it. He felt for the wall. There's the cabinet. He got in, he snuck in the cabinet. And he pulled the cabinet closed behind him. Maybe the monster won't know that I'm here. The monster, footsteps got louder, and the sounds got and suddenly, Dylan knew it was right in the room. It was right. He didn't move. He didn't move a muscle. And it was so dark. It was so dark in that cupboard that Dylan didn't know if his eyes were opened or closed, but he knew he was not going to open those doors. Wow! And the monster roared, and suddenly there was lots of yowling, screeching, and Dylan thought, they're fighting. Somebody's fighting out there. There must be more than one monster. And then there's a terrible noise, squeaking, yowling, and growling, and snapping. And Dylan, maybe I just go to sleep and wake up tomorrow, and maybe I'll be okay, he says. But he couldn't sleep all through the night. Oh, they were growling and snarling and yapping and squeaking, and finally Dylan did fall asleep. And when he woke up, he could see a little crack of light in the doors, between the doors. And he peeked out between the doors. He saw this huge mass of gray something in the middle of the room. It was daylight outside. And he walked around this huge mass. And he realized that it was dead. Whatever it was dead. There was chunks of fur out of it, and there were gashes all over the animal. And he looked at it. It was a huge rat, a monster rat as big as a house. And what could happen? Who killed this awful monster? And he looked up at his blackboards, and the cats that he drew all had rat blood on their teeth and fangs full of rat hair, and they looked very happy. They were standing on the... He said, my cats that I drew saved me from this monster. And he was so pleased. And he walked to the front door of the school, and he opened the front door, and there were the whole town. Whole town had been hearing the great fight that had gone on that night, and they were out there. And Dylan opened the door, and they all said, hooray for Dylan, hooray, hooray, hooray. He killed the monster, he killed the monster. He saved San Diego. And Dylan said, no, 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 it wasn't me, it was the cats that I drew. I drew these cats, and they, oh, come on, I'll show you. And so he went back, and people followed him in. And on the blackboards, the cats had disappeared. But the dead monster was in the middle of the floor. Well, the people in San Diego said that Dylan was a hero. He had killed the monster, and they gave him a job as an apprentice